good.
Okay, good. Make sure you press the button. And
Yep.
today we're going to be doing some kind of defense. Not going to be a kind of a question-based topic, like the other 11 episodes where you ask questions. We will kind of be talking about esports logos, since I don't know how I got fascinated topic. And today's special guest is going to go introduce himself.
Oh, hey, I'm Ray. I'm a logo designer. I'm also an illustrator. But I've been designing logos for almost 6 plus years. Um, and I've been in the esport business for almost three. Yeah.
What teams have your esports business? What have you been working
Um,
in?
well, for the ones that I can't say for NDAs, but for the ones that I can say, I've worked with teams like Optic. I've worked with teams like 100 Thieves before. Um, I only did a couple of things for 100 Thieves. It wasn't something huge. And I worked for some other teams, not, esports related, but more like, well, Obey was one of the teams that I worked with at the time, which is now an esports team, and as well as Dare, but Dare's kind of, I think, a smaller team now, but still, yeah, I worked with them before. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start with the opening topic here. Before we get into all the logos we're going to be talking about. And I have a question lined up for you. What got you into wanting to start creating logos slash get into graphic design in the first place?
Well, for me at least, it was more like I had like this. That's well, yeah, it's weird to say because I had a passion of like wanting to outdo people. Um, you know, as a young artist and coming into the scene, I was very ambitious and like wanting to um prove that I was the best at that time. At that time that I was coming into the scene for designing, at least in the gaming community. Um, the two big notable people that I would say were like big at that time was for logo design at least was mm, well he at that time he went by Muck, but now he goes by Mike Goldfield. And then the other designer was FX. Both of them were somewhat just like fairly big in the community, known for making logo designs, and I had skimmed through their work, and told myself I could do a lot, way better than these guys are doing. So from there, I made a couple of designs, and one of the people that I made a design for was most notably Face Temper. Um, at
Mhm.
the time, he was if you made something for him and he was able to see it, it was something ecstatic for me. It was just mind blowing, and I posted this concept for him. It was a lion logo, and he really enjoyed it. So he later on, DM'd me, "Hey man, how much do you want for it?" And I told him whatever you think is fair. Um, and then I just sent to my PayPal. He later on sent me $250 for the logo, and I was like, great. I didn't think I was gonna get this much for a design. And this is back, I believe, in like 2012, 2011. Um,
Oh, so the start of it. Kind of
yeah,
like the start of the phase brand because it started in 2010, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was really early, and I was like, wow. So, after that, I kind of saw myself as like, you know what? I think I can continue doing this. This is something that's not. It's not so much that it's easy, but I have a better grasp on it, and I think I can be way more creative than my competitors at the time. Um, and from there, I kind of just, made what I thought looked cool. And yeah, I mean, now I'm here, almost six plus years of experience, and it's honestly been like almost a dream. It's weird. Yeah.
Okay, so that's you kind of focus more on. I think what I noticed from you is you kind of focus more on lettering,
Yeah.
kind of a little bit more than like kind of. When I had
Esports.
when I found guests for the show, it was like everybody had like the same thing. It's just like it's an animal or some object, and it's just a name on the words. I think you kind of focus on like the more minimalistic style, like
Right.
just lettering, make it so, just
So
make it
yeah.
look trendy.
So Yeah, because so I did make some animal logos, and there's some that you could look at and be like, oh wow, they're they're pretty impressive, but for the most part, yeah, I whenever I made a logo, I was always telling myself, you know what, I think it'll look a lot better than this, like this. And say for example, if I was making a fairly complex one logo that people always get themselves into is octopus. Um, and some people have a hard time of having to add in all the tentacles and all the other details in order to make it a logo, and but at the same time recognize that it is a logo, not just an illustration piece, right?
Hmm.
um and so from there I kind of I kind of try to imagine in my mind how an octopus logo would look if, say for example, it were with few limbs. You don't necessarily have to put eight all eight limbs. You can just put four of them and then make the suction cups a little thicker than usual, and people can still recognize that it's the logo instead of just you know some illustration that this person made, right? Um, yeah, that's something I've always strived towards whenever I was making a logo. Make it as simple as possible, but at the same time notable that it's actually, whatever the topic it is, trying to aim for. Um, but yeah, it's it's something I'm fairly prideful in.
Oh, that's nice to hear. Okay, so we're gonna get into. This is gonna be kind of different. Way I said in the intro, I was not gonna ask questions. We're just gonna
All
kind of
right.
talk about the 25 logos. I gave you every team on there. Um, it was kind. I was gonna tell you like to search it up on the internet, but I think it was a lot easier. It's just I sent it you already.
Yeah.
So the first team we're gonna be talking about is Virtus Pro. I'm gonna give a little bit of details while Ray analyzes the logo a little bit more just to get the pick of it. Virtus Pro is kind of more of an Eastern European team, esports team. I think more in, I'm gonna say, I don't know, Kazakhstan. I don't know, but like somewhere in Ukraine. I think that's a prominent area where they're from. They only have two esports teams. They have in CS:GO and Dota 2. CS:GO had a really prominent roster. Dota hasn't had a lot of success. So Dota did compete in the International Nine. So when you look, Ray, when you look at that logo, what do you kind of, first thing, let's ask you this. Is it a good or bad logo? And if you say the logo is bad, what could they improve on? If it's good, what do you like about their logo overall?
Right.
I'm gonna do this for everyone.
Yeah. For me, at least for this Virtuous Pro logo, I first saw this back in like 2015, I believe, or 2016. Um, but honestly, the logo could have been done better. For many things. For one, I understand. It's not so much the designer's fault. Sometimes it's more than the clients as well. Because the client may ask for a certain thing. But for me personally, I wouldn't have added the orange accents on that make the V, representing Virtus. I would just let the animal logo speaks for itself, being that they are virtuous, and they're not instead of having these random two pieces just standing there. It kind of draws away from the eye. And the main attraction is the polar bear or the bear, right? Um,
Hmm.
so for me personally, I think it could have been done a lot better. The eye is done well. The ears are done well. The nose could have been worked on a little bit more. Um, Teeth are, really spot on. The jawline is nicely done. Me personally, though, if I were given this task, I would not limit it to just the V kind of triangle form that it has. I would probably add a bit more of a curve to symbolize that they're wanting to win, and showing that they're in motion to go and win instead of just being like it's a bear that's mad looking at you, you know. But that's just me personally. But yeah. That's all I gotta say for that one, honestly.
Actually, there. Okay, so I
Yeah.
actually had this right now as a good logo.
Mm.
I think the creativity of that is just kind of the bear. I think overall that's the best part. The V, that's something I really didn't focus on, but I think just the bear made that logo really good. There's a lot of teams that do have bears as logo. I think BIG, although it's
Hmm.
kind of like a bear claw, Berlin International Group. I think that's a CS:GO team.
Right.
That's kind of the only other team I kind of know that has a bear, so it's kind of unique, and they kind of make a polar bear, especially in the region where it's like Eastern Europe. It's like really cold there.
Yeah.
Um, or Russia. I don't know where they originate from, but I think that's kind of makes the logo really good.
Right.
So next team we're gonna talk about is NRG. This is kind of a comparison one, where it goes from, I'll tell it later, but
Hmm.
NRG is a esports team kind of based in San Francisco. They have teams in Fortnite, Apex, Gears of War, as they recently picked up. They also have two franchise spots in Chicago Call of Duty, which they picked up a month ago, and the the Overwatch team, San Francisco Shock, who won season 2 of the Overwatch League.
Mm.
Um, so the first logo on the right is the old NRG logo. The second one is the new one. So kind of, what do you think? Which logo do you think kind of looks better?
Me
Do you like the old
personally,
one on the right or the left?
I like the one on the left more. But obviously, Energy. Well, for one, Energy did need an update on their logo. Um, the old one, it kind of seemed outdated. It didn't seem so much as a pro logo. It seemed more as a kind of like a starter logo in a sense. Because when when companies like this or like organization like this, they always start off with like a basic logo just to start up with, not so much, oh, I'm going to stay with this long term. I feel like this was a logo that they started up with, and I felt like could have, obviously been done better. But the new one, I think it's really, it's really good for them for many things. For one, I think the color could have been done differently. It could have been just, black and white. But
Oh, that's no, actually, that's I just found this on the internet. I didn't want to send you like two photos.
mhm,
The kind of more official one is kind of black and white, so they have the white NRG lettering, and then the black is like the background,
right, right. Oh no, so
or is
yeah,
someone like that?
no, that's fine then. Yeah,
But that's just like,
yeah, yeah, I get you. But yeah, the I honestly like the idea behind it because for one, I like the whole globe being behind the text energy. For one, it's representing that it's globally recognized and not just centrally recognized. Um, and what I mean by that is like when you're making an organization, you want people to know about it all around the world, right? You want to get as much exposure as you want, and they've in a sense achieved that, and so they're proud of that sense of that of that thing that they're so well known. So they said might as well at the concept of us being worldwide, known worldwide. Um, and honestly respect the way the logo looks. I know a lot of people disliked it and were not happy with it. I personally like it a lot. It's a really good one. But yeah, what do you? I'll give it up to you now.
I don't know. I think I like the old one better. I think just because I don't know. I think just kind of the background and like the R being really special to it, kind of really
Right.
made it good. But I don't know. Just the new one is just it didn't. Like when you saw the Raw game, I probably get it. But yeah, it did look like a globe when it first released, but I don't know. It was just kind of just with the logo, just the lettering didn't really look that special. I don't know.
Yeah,
It just looked like it was like it took like
like a
five,
font.
like maybe like
Right.
20 minutes to make. So that was just kind of my opinion on that one. But um, it's especially Road Ride. The org has been, I think, one of the fastest growing ones. I think has been really making some strides here in 2018, 2019 with growing the brand. So it makes sense they have the Road Ride. So it was kind of that's where they kind of got the creativity on. But
Hmm.
I think just kind of the old one looks a lot better. So next one we're gonna be talking about is yeah gaming. This is a Brazilian organization. I don't know. I just try to get like some kind
some
of
different
lower,
ones.
like not, yeah.
Right.
This is kind of a Brazilian organization. Kind of only team I kind of know them in is Rainbow Six. So kind of what do you think about it?
Um, well, for one, the text is fairly, I think it's poorly made. It could have been done better to represent it. Yeah, it's way too big. I understand it's supposed to be the focal point or the. I understand. That's probably what the designer was going for. The focal. It was supposed to be like the focal point of what, or like the main point, main attraction for the logo. But you also have a lion. Not sorry, not a lion, a tiger.
It's a
You
tiger.
know. Yeah, sorry about that. Thinking of different things right now. You also have a tiger. Just sat there, and it's being bold as well. So if you have and that tiger, trying to share the spotlight, it's not going to work. You need something that's going to be equal, and if you want, to be your main thing, then just have yeah. If you want the lion to be, I mean, sorry, the tiger, to be the main attraction for it, then make gaming smaller and have it under the tiger, not so much, a big sign that's saying yeah. You know what I mean? But me personally, I think it could have been done better.
Actually was kind of a big fan of the logo till like you
Hmm.
talked about the lettering overall, and it's just like, oh my god, it looks like the ones that was for other people I was searching up. Just I think the tiger is the creativity point. I think that's kind of why I liked it in the first place. But I think kind of the lettering, yeah, that should not be so kind of prevalent
Right.
overall. That could have been fixed. Could have been introduced a lot better, but it was just kind of a fortunate thing. Now it's kind of too late. You can't really change that much.
Yeah.
So next team I'm gonna go for is Team Sinister. This is a more Australian-based org from. I think it's kind of more Australian-based. I think the only scene I kind of know them they compete in is Rainbow Six.
Hmm.
I got a lot of it. So what do you kind of think about their logo?
Their logo it's nice. The body for the dragon itself could have been done a little smoother or more fluent. It seemed like it was more forced than usual, honestly. But for the most part, it seems to be felt real nice, really nice. It's not, how would you say, it's not something that's blurring your eyes too much. Whenever teams make their logos, right? Usually the ones that are more simplified and more not with a bunch of colors flying around are always gonna stand out more to people because it just, for example, it'll work a lot better on, say, a t-shirt or on a hat. And so if a person wants to rep that one team, they're gonna want to sorry, they're gonna want to rep a clean logo that's you know getting the message across, that saying that yeah, this is my team, they're really good, they're the best or whatever. um but yeah, that's my understanding of it. I think it could have been done a lot better, obviously.
I don't know. This one just bothered the shit out of me, to be honest. I didn't like it. First thing I noticed now, it's a backwards S. It's not
Yeah,
even a regular S.
yeah, that
Second thing
also bothered
is
me.
the arms. The arms looked really odd. I don't know why it was so short. I don't know. It just I couldn't even tell it was a dragon. It looked like it was supposed. I think it was supposed to be a bird,
Yeah,
but I don't know. It was just not designed correctly. I think you get trying to make creativity with the S.
yeah,
I don't know. It just did not look good.
it seemed,
So
yeah,
next
like
team,
that's what I was saying, it seems a bit forced, not so much like he wanted to make it in a sense.
yeah,
But yeah,
true.
it's weird. But yeah, go ahead.
So next team is Str8 Rippin. They're really known as one of the top Halo teams back in the day.
Hmm.
Um, so what do you kind of think? That's kind of what I'm known for. I think it's the only team they kind of compete in,
Straight ripping
game
it.
they compete in. But
So I liked the whole like scratch on the shield, making up the letter S. My complaint though is that the hands on the shield. Um, but other than that, I think it's honestly, for what the designer was given, I think it's done really well. Um, Obviously, there's a lot of things he could have minimalized, and the regard that it could have not had so many shadows to display that it's been ripped. But it's a nice logo overall. It gets the point across. Their previous logo though was I because I've seen their previous logo. This is their newer one. The previous one was horrendous. Um, yeah, honestly, it's done way better than the previous one, and I think this one is good. Not like the best, but it's like a good 7 in my book.
I like this logo because I think, yeah, just the S, and it's really simple. It's not too bland and all that. And
Yeah,
I just found the old Str8 Rippin kind of a little, well, it's kind of a newer one, but it has a ripping on the bottom.
yeah,
But again, it looks like they ripped for the S. It looks like they shoulder tough, the shield. It's like a shield. It's just a bear claw rib for a shield. I think that's kind of where you get the creativity from.
yeah.
The S is really shown. Could be S could be a little bit better designed, to be honest, but I think again it doesn't look too complicated. It didn't look like a 5-year-old kid make it. There's some creativity with it.
Right.
There's some mental,
Analysis going
like
with it.
there's
Yeah.
some thought into it. So
Oh yeah.
okay, so this one,
Good.
oh, just continue. Sorry.
No. I was just agreeing with you. Yeah, you
Oh,
can go ahead. Yeah.
okay. So next one is MIBR. This is I got two pictures. I think I've sent you. So this
Hmm.
one is kind of the old one, and then the new one. I don't know if they actually changed back. This one I didn't know if the black one is kind of permanent now, but this one, what do you kind of think about the MIBR logo?
Well, the original one, right?
Just
Um, we'll say we'll say it as the original one, right? The original one seems to be done well. It's just low photo quality. Um, but like you said, it may be that they just refined it and put it into a black and white color, which would make sense. Say if they're already a well-established org, they wouldn't want to change too much. So, but yeah, for the most part, it seems really nice. I honestly don't think I would personally make this for a client, but it's nice overall.
actually, well, that's when I was fine with MRBR logo overall.
Hmm.
But I think kind of switching from, okay, your team is fully based in Brazil. You have to represent those Brazil colors.
Yeah,
And they had the Brazil flag represented with the diamond or rhombus, I don't know which, I think it's looks like a diamond
yeah,
shape. And then but I think just kind of switching from black and white, I know it looks a lot cleaner. I think, to be honest, it does look a lot cleaner, but it just doesn't fit the originality. It doesn't fit the full form of the Brazil, like like the Brazil team. And
right.
also, I was not a big fan of the lettering overall. I think I think it's just the M and I bother me so much. With that, I not being visible. I think if they separated like they made it like MIBR, it's just instead of putting like, how it's like the third. I don't know how I want to say this, like the third column of the M,
You're
and
right.
then there's the dot on top, so it just represents the I. I don't like that. I think you should just make it M. Just
Right,
make
you wanted
a
it to
letter
be
I.
like by itself. You want it to stand up by
Yeah,
itself instead of it.
just
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's where you got to go with it. Also, I forgot to describe the team. MBR is a really known CS:GO team. Also, they just picked up a Rainbow Six roster in Brazil too. So, next team is Dignitas. This is the old logo versus the new one. This one's kind of more prominent in the big change. So, what do you kind of think about the old
Right.
logo versus the new one?
So the old one, I kind of didn't even know what it was when I first heard about it. I did have people who worked with Dignitas. They personally couldn't tell me either. Um, but besides that fact, I think the new one is nice. It's just we don't. as the consumer, or as the person who's trying to decide whether or not this is their favorite team, or say it is their favorite team, but they didn't know what it is necessarily that they were repping, like the character at least. It just kind of throws you off. Um, and say for the consumer who's buying the say a T-shirt for Dignitas, and you see the old logo, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, it looks like a cool character, and it is done well, nicely, but you're kind of also left in the dark of what it is, right?
Yeah.
So for the most part, I think it's a nice one. The new one is a lot more simplified, so I do
It's
like the new
owl.
one. Yeah, I do like the new one. It's really nice. But if that's what their approach is now, then I respect it, honestly.
I didn't like the old one. I didn't kind of read it. I just like it's nice to did a rebranding. I think it was back in 2016, 2017 around that time. Um, where you went from Team Dignitas to just straight Dignitas and also changed that logo. I didn't. Again, I don't know what the hell the old Dignitas logo was. They had that for
Yeah,
so many years. It's an org that existed at the start 2000s,
yeah.
and I just didn't understand the logo. And then you go to a new one. The owl looks simple. They also had a different owl one, where it's actually showing their like claws and the feet, legs, feet, or what I don't know, and
Yeah.
all that. But I think this is the newest one. Also Dignitas competes in, from what I know, Smite, female CS:GO. They also have an Overwatch team currently sponsored, partnered with Clutch Gaming, the
Hmm.
Houston Rockets brand, and the Rocket League, which they won a championship. Some I don't know, like early seasons. Um, Next team is Ninja and Pyjamas. They have a Dota, CS:GO, Rainbow Six. Those are the only teams I kind of know about off my head. So, what do you think about NIP's
Um,
logo?
it's really so back in my day, right? When I first started making logos, there was this thing where a lot of people would like to complex logos, and there's this one style that I hate to this day, and it's called fractal logos. This is what one of the this looks like something like a designer back in the day, say back in 2010, 2011 would do. Um, it's kind of like a fractal based logo. I really honestly don't like it too much. From my understanding, I think they were gonna. I'm not sure if they were gonna get a new logo, but if it were me, I would make a new logo for them, and it would not look like this. This is way too much. It just seems like a bunch of random shapes being put together and a bunch of points. And I understand it's supposed to make a shuriken, um, but it's just too much, and it doesn't let the viewer, or the person examining the logo just is just lost. They see a bunch of random shapes, and it just seems stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go on the same thing. Just kind of, it just doesn't look clean. I think just go on that fact. Yeah, you mentioned the shuriken, the throwing, kind of the throwing disc weapon. I don't know. It's just it would be nice to just like I don't know. It's gonna be hard, but like try to include like an actual ninja. I think if you're gonna do a rebrand, just like an actual ninja in
Well,
pajamas.
right, and
That would be kind
and
of funny.
yeah, and so my thing is not so much including like a ninja, it's just like making the shuriken with an N in it, and that's it. Honestly, it's not for at least for their brand. I don't think you need to include a character. I understand it's ninja in pajamas, but that's their team. That's just the
Yeah,
you know
I wouldn't think they're gonna do that.
right.
Or do something like that. Well, it'd be
But
interesting.
yeah, the next one you have here is 100 Thieves, right?
Yeah, so they currently have a spot in the LCS for the NA League of Legends. Also have a Fortnite players Apex Legends, and they have a two-time Call of Duty World League Championship, which they won London and Anaheim. What do you think about 100T?
I honestly like the logo a lot. A lot of people I've heard in the past have said that they disliked it a lot because, for one, it introduces just a very grungy type to it. Uh, and then at the same time, people have told me that the logo seems to just introduce a bunch of grungy styles, right? And sense of their clothing. And you have to think, this logo wasn't necessarily intended to be for a gaming team. At first, it was more intended just to be for a clothing brand, and later on evolved into a gaming team, um, which is fantastic. They're doing really well in all their in all any league that they're in right now, um, and I honestly like it a lot. It goes really well with their jerseys. It introduces a very welcoming feeling for other future investors who say, "Hey, I think 100 Thieves would be a good option for me to look into." Their clothing does really well with it, so honestly, I have no complaints about it at all.
Well, again, when I talked about 100 T, they again, they have that 100 emoji on there too, and just with
Right.
the T on there. It's simple, it's clean, it features that that clothing brand where it's a lifestyle, it's a teenage like you know teenage 20 college brand lifestyle, and that's kind of what they introduced in it. I think the red theme works really well with black. Overall, I was um I actually want to talk about their jerseys too. Jerseys are not really I was not a big fan of the jerseys because it looks too clusterfucked a lot of times.
Hmm.
Because they I don't know, I'm not gonna you guys can search
The
this up
Yeah,
some other time, but
their jerseys,
it's just
yeah, their jerseys aren't too bad to me. But and the reason why I say this is because other compared to other jerseys that I've seen in my time that I've you know looked into and been in designing in general for COD, or I'm sorry, for just gaming in general. Um, honestly think it has a better approach to it. Um, and it's just different. It's not something you would normally see every other team do. You go to um, say an event and you see these phase jerseys, you see these optic jerseys, and you could tell that they're jerseys, right? But there's always going to be something that's similar to one another, and you either have like a bunch of patterns that look somewhat similar to the other team, or they just have a bunch of like colors that are running around that don't make sense at all. But honestly, the simplicity of black, red, and white, and then yeah, I could understand with the whole teams being all over the place. I mean, sorry, not the teams, the sponsors being all over the place. Um, but I think it's a nice touch and it's a nice look for them. Not too bad. And yeah, that's pretty much my opinion on that.
okay. So next team is something that I don't know if you really know about. This is kind of really small org. This is an org that this year in Call of Duty really just had a lot of controversy with controversial orgs. I'm gonna list them all: Red Reserve, Denial Esports, Accelerate Gaming, and Midnight Esports. Midnight Esports is the only team that kind of stuck on for the whole year with the money controversy. Um, and this was their they had a this was their logo for the rest of the season, the Black Ops 4 season. So what do you think about it? This is gonna get
And this is
this is
midnight.
not.
This is the midnight logo, right?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
the purple one. Yeah.
Yeah. So me personally, the logo itself is just terrible. Just
Yes.
it's bad. It's just bad. It's something you would see like in an old COD team, say back in 2010. Or even like your own logo. Like say it's something that you would make for yourself when you're say if you're first starting as a designer. It just seems really off. It doesn't seem well put on, well put together at all. It's literally just like a starter logo, like I was saying in the beginning, about one of the other logos. But yeah, it's not good.
It's just too easy. You can make that on Microsoft Paint.
Yeah.
Um, overall, this I don't know the old one. If anyone wants to spend time looking at that one looked a lot better because I don't know, but not even the old one. Now thinking about it, didn't look that great. But I think this logo looks a lot more professional. Sorry, not wait. What am I saying? Oops, wrong one. Other one looked a lot more professional.
Right.
But I don't know. It just looked too simple. It looked out of place. The E, it doesn't even look like E. And second thing is, it's not. It goes outside the circle. So I don't know what the hell the logo they're doing.
Yeah.
Next team is Team Empire. This is a Russian-based org who is known and also Rainbow Six. I'm gonna have a lot of Rainbow Six teams in here.
Yeah.
Um, I don't. But this is a kind of more Rainbow Six team. They have a couple more teams, but I think Dota is another one. But more known Rainbow Six. They won the Season 9 Pro League Finals. Also, they won the Rally Major of 2 months back in August. So what do you think about Team Empire?
The logo is nice. It's a mascot logo, obviously. It's done well. The colors all flow. You know, if you look at this logo right away, you know that there's only a 4-color palette. And that's what, mascot logos should be. Not something where there's like a shit ton of colors just running around and that don't make sense at all. This is done really well for a mascot logo. Um, Obviously though, if they wanted to go for it with a different approach, they could have just done like a Roman's helm. Because I believe that's what it is, right? It's like a Rome or Greek helm, right? Um,
I don't know.
yeah, it's something like that.
It's like a
Uh,
Trojan. That's
yeah,
kind of what I based it off.
and I personally think it would look a lot better just as the Trojan helmet, um, just by itself with the colors and everything. Because the horse, the text, and the team part is just all unnecessary. If you just put the head, you will just be like, yeah, that's a good team. That's it. But that's me personally. The logo though, it is done really well, so I can't argue about it.
I think this is kind of one of the most. I don't know. It's just kind of go with the theme. Like it's Trojans. You want to dominate. It's like kind of based off like old history.
Hmm.
I think the Roman kind of based off the Roman Empire. That's why they got Team Empire.
Yeah.
Um, it's very. There's a reason. I think this one has a lot of purpose on it.
Hmm.
Just kind of think about okay, you want to be a dominant. You want to be Roman Empire was dominant. Show that your logo is dominant. Show that you're dominant. I think that's where they kind of went with creativity on that. I kind of like it a lot. I think this is kind of one of my favorite logos
Yeah.
in the whole list I have. So next team we're gonna go with is Fnatic. This one has a League of Legends team. Also in Rainbow Six, they have a CS:GO team that is shockingly doing well in DreamHack Malmo. They also have some Fortnite players. And yeah, that's probably all I know. But what do you think about Fnatic?
Fnatic, so I think honestly, I don't think it's a good logo. I believe back in the past, I did offer because I did know a few designers in Fnatic. At this moment, I don't know any of them because I think it's a new set of people that run the graphic design part of that. But honestly, I don't like it at all. It just seems out of place. I understand so from my understanding of it is that this is supposed to be like a person, um, and there's an F and a C and there's an I in there. But it just doesn't make sense to me at all. The logo's just terrible, and I think it could have been done way better. But yeah.
I don't know. This one just confused me. I think some of them are easy to kind of really identify.
Hmm.
Sinister, you can tell was like it could have been a bird or a dragon, but this one is just like you don't know what the hell this is. Like
Yeah.
it's not the F is hard to see, the C is hard. Um, I don't know. I can't really even decipher like the person feeling. It just looks like it just threw up a random like letters, type it up keyboard. I don't know. It just feels like a 6-year-old scribble it, make it just say, okay, let's make 4 distinct parts. You draw what four you want. That's what he decided. Just like make it off that theme, and just like oh, let's just print out there. That's Fnatic. I don't know. It just doesn't really look good overall. I don't know. Some of these like really known orgs have like the crap. Some have like some horrible logos
Yeah.
overall. Um, but we're gonna talk about team. That team is Ninja Pyjamas, really well known. They just the logo's not great. Um, so next team is Splyce. They have a LEC team or European League of Legends franchise team. They also had a Call of Duty team. Rocket League. They also have partial kind of ownership of the Toronto Defiant roster, also with the COD Toronto roster, and also kind of Overactive Media, which is currently the owner of Splyce. Also has a Spanish League of Legends roster known as Mad Lions. What do you think about Splyce's logo?
So their
This is
original
the new
logo,
one.
yeah, yeah. So their original logo was like really bad. And then when I was introduced to this one, I was like, okay, it's an improvement, but this is still really bad. Um, I personally think it would be better without the whole text in it. If it was just a snake, it would have been way better, in my opinion. I understand some, like I said before, it's not always the designer's decision. It's sometimes the client decision,
Management.
right? Management. Um, and so to that I understand, but personally, it's a really bad logo. Uh, the snake though is done really well. The text is just horrible. I just hate it. It's just not good. Yeah.
Actually, I didn't really hate this logo too much. I think the text is kind of fine in my opinion, but I think the reason I like the Slice logo is just because it's based off of Viper.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's kind of why I liked it. But it's a snake. I think the old one past snake just didn't look complete. It looks like they didn't put too much emphasis on making it in depth. They had in the color. It looked some. It did look like a snake. It looked some. It wasn't too horrible. But it was just not enough flashy color with it. Like not enough deep. But I think this one overall looks like a lot better than the old one. Sucks kind of rumors that the brand is kind of shutting down because of overactive media wanting to delete the brand and all that, but let's not get into that. Next one is Counter Logic Gaming. This is a well-known. Um, they have a Fortnite player named Psalm who got second place at the World Cup. Also, they are a League of Legends franchise team. They used to have a lot more. They used to represent a lot more games, but that kind of stopped once they got into franchising, um, especially with LCS. So, what do you think about us, Logic Gaming?
So when I first saw this logo, it kind of just threw me off a lot. I honestly personally don't like it. I think it could have been done better. Um, but yeah, knowing brands like this, it's they once they get a logo like this, they just stay with it. Um, but yeah, I personally hate it. It's not good at all.
I don't know. It's just I can't. I don't know. I don't know. Trying to base it off. Maybe if I thought about these logos a little more, maybe I'd kind of get the theme. But it didn't. First thing, it doesn't look like a C, L, or G. It's just kind of a couple. Wait. I think it's kind of basing off waves a little bit.
Right.
Like kind of like ocean waves with like the first and last part of it, but otherwise I just can't really decipher it too much.
Right.
The colors, I think the colors overall look really nice. I
Yeah, the
like
colors are nice.
that kind of blue, but it's just kind of the logo was a little bit like I don't know, just more clearer or maybe kind of I don't know how you kind of based on off counter logic, but you can probably come up with like a logo based off counter logic, like with those two themes on there.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know.
No, yeah,
Next
I
one
totally understand what you're
is
saying.
oops, I kind of next one is Astralis. This is a well-known CS:GO team.
I like their logo.
So what do you think?
Yeah, I like their logo a lot. Um, could have been, could it have been done better? Yeah. Um, the point on top is just really, really. unnecessary. It's like way too high. Um, but personally, I think it could have been done better. But still, it's a really nice logo. I think it's done really well. I have very few complaints about it, so that's pretty much my thing on it.
I don't know. I think the first thing is this is the logo I really hate. I'm sorry to burst your bubble here, but it's
Oh yeah,
just this like the whites. Like I don't know. It just the red part just looks so incomplete. I think that's where I have to get the point. It's like I didn't like you look at the bottom right corner. I don't know what they're thinking about cutting it off. It's just a bunch of stars. I don't know what the red part is based on. Like that I don't know. It just the red part just looks. I don't know if it's like an incomplete star. Like I don't know what they're trying to show with incompleteness. Um. Also, I don't know. It's just too just no creativity with it. Like I feel like Astralis, you can probably think about Astro,
hmm
like kind of more space themed.
yeah,
Um, like because it's trying to base off I think a star and like a rocket. I don't know. Maybe it's a rocket ship that's totally disabled. But I'm just not a big fan of it. I know
yeah,
it's like pretty simple. It's not. But I don't know. It just looks broken. But
yeah,
I don't think you can change it because they've been winning a lot with that logo. So but I wish that team actually, especially with how much money support it. I wish they like invest in more games. Like they have more teams in like multiple games instead of only investing in CS:GO. I feel like, especially how successful that org is, if you invest in more games, people are more likely to support it
yeah,
instead of just going for CS:GO fans.
yeah. I
Also,
can see what you're saying.
next team is we're gonna go into two Overwatch teams, Overwatch League teams. This one is the Chengdu Hunters. They are based in Chengdu, China. To make that simple. What do you think about the Chengdu Hunters
It's
logo?
just good, honestly. Like I have no complaints on it. It's just really good. It's probably one of the best logos for any team that I've seen. So it has like a strong 9 in my book, honestly.
I think this is one of my favorites. I think maybe and it's just kind of same as like Team Empire. I think it's a nice pan. It's clean. Well, I don't. They might have let. I think with how Overwatch wants to design logos, maybe do have lettering under it, but I think the panda. It's just simple. They've. I don't know. It's a nice angry. It's kind of a nice panda. It's angry. The color scheme works perfectly. Um, they didn't try to. Especially with the gold part, it looks really nice. I don't think their jerseys look bad either.
hmm
Um, kind of, it's kind of annoying about this. It's kind of Soul Dynasty also has the same kind of like a similar color scheme with like the white, black, and kind
And
of
gold's kind of color.
bronze color.
Yeah,
It's
this
kind
is
of
more like a
it looks
bronze
more
color,
bronze.
and then the other one is kind of is more gold. But yeah, yeah, I know what you're
With
talking about.
yeah, but I don't know. It's just like the color schemes look out just like same logo. But I think the panda is just simple. It doesn't look like ugly. I think we kind of compare it to like Soul Dynasty. Soul Dynasty doesn't look bad either, but it just kind of looks. I gotta kind of look at the logo, but I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of the Soul Dynasty logo overall. Like, just kind of based off the colors and all that, but I think Chengdu Hunters kind of looks a lot more cleaner. I'm looking at Soul Dynasty right now. It just looks like a more cartoonish lion. I don't know. It just doesn't look like they can redesign that a little bit more, but again, can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
Next team is NYXL. They are an Overwatch team based in New York City, and they are known for winning Season 1 of the Overwatch League. They also finished third this season in the Overwatch League playoffs. So, what do you think about the New York Excelsior? Or, I don't know how you pronounce that. Excelsior.
Let me see real quick. Oh yeah, Excelsior. Um, sorry. So I think it's so for a team, it's done well, right? But obviously, there's different approaches they could have taken to this logo. Um, I feel like they kind of just were rushed in a sense. Like, so the designer who made this is they're a part of Blizzard, obviously. Um, it's just I feel like it was done poorly in their on their side. But for what it fits, I think it does well. Um, it does get the whole X NYXL like Nix you hear X in that really well. But I mean it could have been done better in my opinion.
I don't know. It's just I feel like it just like every you talk about every other Overwatch team, the logo, it's specific. It's like close to a team name, like or it's like it's an animal character or something like that. But this one, it's just lettering. It's just an X.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just I know to get it on the Excelsior team, like yeah, it's really close to the name. It's really based on name. But I think you can get a lot more creativity. I think you can probably I don't know. This is gonna like maybe base something off New York. I think when I also looked at the Hangzhou's Charge Instagram page, whenever they I don't because they whenever they show matches, they really create good logos, like good animations for teams and all that. I
Hmm.
think they but when they show up the NYXL team, they kind of show the Statue of Liberty. Maybe they can try to base a logo off that, like Statue of Liberty based. I think that would be kind of pretty sweet. It's something really based in New York, so it kind of means a lot more, like means a lot more for the city.
Yeah.
So I think kind of based off like maybe a famous monument. I think if they kind of base off Statue of Liberty with kind of like more, you can have that same, the X theme, how they designed that, maybe feature in some sort of way. Maybe have the Statue of Liberty's face, stuff, maybe it's covered with the X, the blue X's and all that, and how, whatever it's like for the logo currently, I think that would be kind of pretty sweet. But
Yeah.
I don't know, it just, again, it's something that could take like 10 minutes to make, maybe like
Yeah.
5 minutes to make, but it's I mean one of the worst logos, so that's kind of what I listed. Next team is Luminosity Gaming. They current
I don't
give
like
you
it. I'm
a
just gonna
full
say
list.
I don't like it at all. I hate it. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, let me get to
Yeah.
explain what teams.
Yeah.
So they compete. They had a Call of Duty team. They have Fortnite players. They have a Rainbow Six roster. They also are partial ownership of the Vancouver Titans, who won stage one. Sorry, stage one of this year in the Overwatch League. They were considered and also was in the grand finals. Who got embarrassingly for swept by the Shock. I think they also had a CS:GO roster they dropped. Um, that's kind of all I know about them. So, what do you think about LG?
Um.
Because you said you already hate
Yeah.
them, or
I
hate that logo.
yeah. I just hate the logo. Like their team it has a good reputation. I just don't like the logo at all. The logo is just terrible. I hate it. It's not good. It doesn't. So, so this is my thing, right? The logo, it's not that it's like terrible. It's just for one, from what I understood, right? The original designer who made it, said said on Twitter that the logo itself is supposed to be a eye and it's not so much it's supposed to be an eye, right? But it's supposed to be like a cyclops. It's the eye and then there's the mouth. And the mouth is like, that little smile at the bottom. And when I heard about that, it just made me dislike the logo completely because when you see it, you think of like a dragon, right? You see this eye, you think of the dragon because it's very narrow and it looks, nicely detailed and you think of a dragon. And then when you're told that it's a cyclops, it's just what? Like you're kind of thrown off. Um, So me personally, I just don't like the logo. You know, personally could have been done better. Yeah.
So you think if that the designer who created it didn't tell you that, you think it would have been like you would like that?
No, still
Like if
like
it didn't tell it,
I still wouldn't have
you
liked
still
it.
hate it?
Yeah, because there's so that blue and that light blue and dark blue line shouldn't be there. The piece on top where it kind of looks like it circles around again shouldn't be there at all.
It looks like an
Um,
AirPod. It looks
yeah,
like an AirPod or a nine.
yeah, it shouldn't be there at all. Like the logo is poorly made, so it's not good at all, my opinion.
Actually, I'm gonna go different here. I really like the logo because of the. I think it's I did feature and I never really thought about the Cyclops part. I think just it's a clear vision to eye. I like the colors. I think especially with the blue, blue white. Like oh my god, the light like kind of like a light blue, and then you got the white demon. Like I like those color combinations overall. If I was gonna design a logo,
Yeah.
it would be black or white or light blue and blue. Oh, sorry, light blue and white. The eye. I think one thing I kind of complain about is you kind of look at the oval part and you see those two white dots. I think if they remove one of those white dots on there, especially I think the smaller one, I think it will look a lot better. But I don't know. I can't really imagine without that little white dot on there. But I think the logo, in my opinion, does not look bad. But again, it could be different from anyone's point of view. So. Next team we're gonna go with is eUnited. They compete in PUBG. They have a fighting game player, and Sam Sword. They do compete in Smite, and they are known for winning free Call of Duty tournaments. They won the last two. They won CDL Miami slash CDL Pro League playoffs back in July, and they won COD Champs back in August. So what do you think about eUnited? Logo.
eUnited's logo, it's poorly made, and I can understand why because it's an old logo. It's not, one of those logos you could say you could recognize that's up to date. It's just very old. Um, it could have. So if you look closely, the star doesn't really line up properly with each other, and I believe I did a revision of this before. Um, and I did my own version of the United logo, and I honestly think any type of revision on the logo that anybody would do to this would look way better than the original product. It's just not good at all. It's really poor, really poorly made, and none of the lines match up with each other either, so it's just not good.
I don't know. It's just again, it's just like okay, let me just create randomly. Let me make the E United. The star. I don't know. I don't know why
Yeah.
first team teams like if you're like feature stars in there, like especially complexity gaming. Let's start with that one. And same as Astralis. Every team wants to feature a star that's really prominent in the logo.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just the color themes. Red, white, and blue. It's a U.S. based company. I'll probably get that point right there, but I don't know. Just it looks too simple. Doesn't look like there's a lot of complexity with it. Unite. I don't know. You can probably get more creative with especially with the word united. I wouldn't think a star is united. Well, I don't know. I don't think featuring a star in the logo is just kind of really shows what united is. There could be a lot better versions of it. I think, to be honest, yeah, it's you can make a lot of revisions to it. And it could probably look like, even if it does like maybe I think of it, my opinion it looks kind of crappier. If it, even if it's like the crappiest version, it'll probably look a lot better than their current logo. So I don't know. It's just doesn't fit.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. Um, the next team is the Pittsburgh Knights. They hold a Smite roster. PUBG, which they are. I watch a lot of the PUBG Europe League a lot. They are not doing well in it so far this phase. Think I don't know. Think they also I don't know what other teams they hold, but I know they hold a Smite and PUBG team. So what do you think about the Pittsburgh Knights logo?
Pittsburgh's night logo, it's nice. You can tell it's aligned right away, right? That's the idea behind it.
I
The
couldn't
only
even decide. I don't know. I had a hard time
really,
deciphering it. Like,
yeah, well,
yeah, I probably guessing it
yeah,
was gonna be a lion, but
I could tell it's a lion right away. But there is like other factors to it that I would eliminate, say like the black space on top of the lion and the black space under the lion. Um, and then maybe try to fix the hair a little bit more. But other than that, it's a really
It's
nice
kind of based
logo.
on wings.
Yeah, it's
I
a really
think
nice logo.
when
So
you,
yeah, go ahead.
I like it too. I think it's again the first thing when it's based off the Pitts. The org is actually owned partially by the Pittsburgh Steelers, so they have that black and yellow theme. You know, terrible towel. The main colors of Pittsburgh Steelers, but I think the wings. I kind of what I think about the wings is kind of I think is an Asian team called Africa. Uh, Africa's or something like that. AF. I don't know how you spell. I gotta search this up, but I think the line is really creative. They, I think it's simple. It's clean. Africa Freaks. I think that's yeah. That has to be a team.
Yeah,
With the wings on the back. Actually, that's not what I was thinking the logo was, but
yeah,
when I just searched it up. But I think it's just clean overall. It's really nice. The detail of the lion. I think it could. I think if you're gonna, maybe it's not based off Knights. Maybe you think about when you think about Knights, you're probably thinking about like the Las Vegas Golden Knights logo a little bit more.
hmm
Instead of thinking about a lion, but maybe there's a different message to it. But I think it's really nice. Next one is gonna be Enigma 6. They're a Call of Duty organization who got fourth place. It's only competes in Call of Duty. They're family owned a little bit, since one of the players on the team is part of the family that owns the org. What do you think about Enigma 6? Also, they got forfeit champs this year.
right. I think Enigma 6 is their logo is nice, right? But there's a lot of stuff that could be done to it that could make it better. Um, but for the most part, um, I think it just needs to be cleaned up. And honestly, it if I were to reimagine the Enigma 6 logo, I would involve the I in the middle of the E and the 6 instead of it being on top. But other than that, I think it's a decent logo. It's not something you would say, "Oh wow, it's an amazing logo." But me personally, I think it's a decent logo. Yeah,
I don't know. I was not. I put this in like when I listed this. I was thinking it was a bad logo just because of the first thing. The E, you can't even tell if it's an E because of the bottom part's a little bit cut off. I don't know if I got the wrong version.
yeah,
Not a big fan of the I. I don't like the Illuminati kind of theme on it, but
yeah.
I can this I don't know. I think just kind of the I bothers me the most. I think I'm
hmm
not the big I don't believe in
Oh yeah,
oh
nah.
I can't sorry Illuminati crap, but I think just that's just kind of cost of the whole logo. I think if they had a different theme on it, like maybe you do get like when you think about Enigma, like, you kind of say the word Enigma 6, yeah, and then you kind of see the logo, like oh yeah, could see the Illuminati portion of it, but I don't know. I think if they had different intentions for it, instead of kind of going on what's the back of a what dollar I forgot what dollar bills is kind of based off, like on the back portion.
The dollar bill. Yeah,
Oh, it's actually the dollar. They have
yeah.
the yeah the yeah I don't know. It's just that. But I was me. The eye does look. I think you kind of the eye. They do put a lot of realism in the eye. I think that's kind of where it is. But again, I don't like the just eye. Next team is Rogue. They have a Rainbow Six roster. They had a couple kind of have a fighting game players. They do compete in the LEC, the European League of Legends League, and also I yeah I think that's all I'm gonna know right now. But what do you think about Rogue?
Rogue. I like their logo a lot. It's kind of like how I was talking about the whole helmet with the last logo. I believe is the Roman Knights, or what was it? What was it called? Let's say, um, something
So
Knights.
Team Empire.
Team Empire, yeah. It's kind of like the whole concept I was saying with Team Empire if they were just to use the helmet instead of the whole body and the horse. I really like the Rogue logo. It's really done really well. You can tell what it is right away. It's a rogue, assassin or um, and it's nice. It's there's nothing else about it, honestly. Um, Personally, I think it works really well for their org, and that's pretty much it. Just honestly, I think the logo is really nice.
Actually, I like this. I like this logo
Oh
too. I
yeah,
think the
hold on, real
colors were.
quick. The only thing I don't like is the whole G going into the O. But other than that, it's nice. Other than that, it's like the rest of it's
Yeah.
nice.
Now I just noticed it. Yeah, I don't like that much, but that's something that he doesn't really get. That's not really care about. It's just one letter. You can probably rework that easily if you want to do a rebranding. Probably no one will notice, but I think the logo. I think really based on the ninja team, like rogue agent. You want to be secretive as be undercover and with the mask and all that, being a ninja. I think that's kind of where. Yeah, that could be like you think about ninjas. That's what Ninja Pajamas didn't think about, like how Rogue really based it off that the ninja portion. Um, Color scheme's really nice. I can't even tell the yellow part. I don't know if that looks like hair or is it like kind of part of the face, but I'm guessing that's. I'm gonna guess on my part it's gonna be part of the face. Um, the lettering, the font doesn't look too horrible.
Hmm.
I think it's a really good logo. I think kind of basing it off your name kind of works perfectly.
Yeah.
So next team we're going to talk about is SK Gaming. They are really old org based in Germany. They have a European League of Legends roster. They also compete in other games. I'm going to list Smite again because I don't know how I got to have these orgs I have taken. Smite. I think they also have a team in the. I don't know. That's kind of all I know right now. So what do you think about SK Gaming's logo?
Um, it's simple, but it's just I really don't like it too much. Um, could be done better, but yeah, I mean, I really don't have much to say for it. It's not, in my opinion, like a really good logo. It's simple, but it's not something I would personally make or say, hey, this is something I think you should use. Yeah, that's pretty
I'm
much
not a
it.
big fan of this logo too. I think you can, especially with SK. I think if you can come up like I think you have a great team with like coming up with the font, but first thing the letters are incomplete. I don't like that. I want something where you can actually tell that the letter's fully in there. Like it doesn't have like cut off letters. Um, second second thing is I don't know. It's just that lettering just bothers me the most. I think you had a great idea with like how you wanted to sign your font, but it's just please complete like like you have two letters in your name before game, like S and K. You can get creative with those two letters. You can come up with many things about fucking up a load, and that is
Yeah,
what you come up with.
yeah. The S
I
could
don't
have
know.
been,
It's just
yeah, the SK concept could have been taken way, could have been taken in a better approach, honestly. Yeah.
we're gonna go and actually we're gonna do an extra team because I forgot I actually listed like 13 bad and 12 good, but I made a mistake. I don't know. We're gonna go with special team last. So this is Horizon Union. I went for like two really more content creation based stores. I just heard of Union this year, I think a couple months ago. They're kind of a content creation org. They also have a let's let this again, a Smite, I think a Smite team or a
Yeah.
Paladins. I don't know, one of those two games. What do you think about Horizon Union's logo?
It's um it's nice. Um it's it's done really well, but in my opinion it could have been simplified a lot more. The whole sunshine popping out is unnecessary. I think if you were just to leave, the circle on the mountain, I think it would have worked really well like that. Other than that, it's a decent logo.
I like this one too. I think the Mountain Demon Sun kind of. I didn't really care about the popping up part, but again, yeah, you could think about it like if they got rid of those points in there. I think it could have looked a lot better.
Hmm.
But I think the sunshine makes it a lot more creative, a lot more, you know, looks a lot better. I think also I kind of base this another team Elevate Gaming. It's kind of similar, like the mountain team. I kind of like it. Like you climb the mountain to the top. Like you kind of there's a message with it. If you kind of think it in a psychological way, but I think the logo really good. And last, second to last team we're gonna talk about is Obey Alliance. More content creation org, and they also picked up a Rainbow Six roster recently. So, what do you think about Obey Alliance?
Yes. Obey Alliance.
And you said you
I
kind of
th
worked, like you kind
Yeah.
of knew the story a little
So
bit more.
their logo, it's nice. It's really simple, but it's super hard to work with for any other thing. Um, it's a decent logo. Um, honestly, it's something that you can never forget once you see it. Um, and it's just a decent logo, but it works really well for their brand. It can be put on anything, you will recognize it, and people will rep the their merch if they're really into it. But yeah.
I actually wasn't a big fan of this. I think the reason why is just kind of it was not a problem with the. I think first thing it's just a letter B, even if that it could be like easily. I don't know. It could. I think if they did actually like a word font, like just kind of have the word obey in like that kind of like a font style like the B, I think that would be a lot more creative than just having the letter B and it's lowercase too. So
Yeah.
it's just show. I don't know. It doesn't show dominance when you don't when you have like a lowercase b instead of like an uppercase b. I don't know. That's kind of my thing in my psychological way, but it just doesn't really. I don't know. Just doesn't work for me. Uh, and the last team we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be a special one here. Optic Gaming. You know the history of that one.
Yes, I've seen that. I've worked with them before, but the logo is it's nice. It works with a lot of things. Like it's something that you can't really. So if you were to say, to me that I was going to be contracted to redo the Optic logo, it would be really hard for me to give them a new logo that would be the face of Optic. Um, but there are certain things I would fix for it. I would make it a little thicker, work around with it. But other than that, it's a decent logo. So yeah.
I think just kind of not thinking about it when you start is just it's O and G. There's a lot of creativity with the lettering, make it a lot more curved, a little bit more of a curved O, flat on the top. The G it connects. I think it's OG, and it really shows the letters there. Also the color scheme is really good with the light green and also the white. I'm very impressed with that. I think like the color scheme a lot.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, I think that's just kind of where you go, and it just again it's a really legendary logo. Sucks with the situation with Hex.
Yeah.
Um, but I think I think forgot me forgetting making a misconnection you did help. But so that's gonna kind of you want to do one more logo, if you kind of know one on top. I want to do one more. I think it'll be interesting to
Um,
do one more.
I would love to talk about
Let's
another
go with
logo,
team.
but I kind of
We'll do
have.
one.
All right, we'll do one more, but after this, I kind of gotta go because I have to start preparing for my trip for tomorrow. Yeah,
Actually,
let's do
I
one
have
more.
one more. You want to actually do the closing topic question, or you want me to ask you one more logo?
Um,
I want to do. I want to do. I need to do the closing topic because that's part of the show. But
mhm.
if you don't feel, we can just do the closing topic because
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's.
we can do it close. Yeah,
I don't. I don't think we need to choose another logo because we did like 25 of them.
yeah.
So the closing topic question I have for you is: do you think editors will be able to, like, kind of graphic designers, will be able to work for company, like kind of more just say non esports based companies that constantly create graphics instead of being free, like kind of independent all the time, like just working on gaming specifically. Like they can work for like I don't know, like different approaches besides gaming, like different teams, different. if you kind of understand the question a little bit more.
Kind of. I understand what you're trying to say to me. Um, for the most part, it's kind of weird because hold on, my train of thought is kind of like all over the place right now, and I'm trying to think properly. Um, uh, can you repeat the question to me again? I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of what
Do
to
you
say on this.
think do you think graphic designers have the opportunity to like do you think companies need to recognize graphic designers getting a big opportunity as kind of jobs not independently, like not fully focused on gaming for these graphic designers? If that makes any sense. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
reword it a little bit more.
So from what I understand, for a lot of designers, graphic designers, for anything really, say if they're mainly in the gaming industry, I could understand why it's frustrating for them if they want to get into something else and they want to, work for a different company. And some companies, they, yeah, like you said, they disregard them in a sense, and they just see them as, as whatever. But honestly, I think, I think it could, some companies should make a better effort of, you know what, this person, say for example, is really good at this. They maybe not, have gone to college or whatever. But I think it would be a really good idea of hiring this person compared to a person who's gone to college, but is not as well talented as, say, this person. Um, and it's hard because you would say, yeah, I'm gonna pay this person the same amount as that person, but at the same time, for that person who's worked for their degree, it's a lot of money that they've put into their degree, and it's something that say the other person didn't necessarily do in that sense. It was not to disregard that they haven't worked that long or done the same amount of effort as them, um, because I could say I'm better than, a person who's gone to college for 6 years for graphic design, and I've only been doing this for 6 years without any type of teaching of that sort. But yeah, honestly, I think companies should, well, just in general, organizations that, are outside of the gaming industry should take a better approach to designing to designers, honestly, and treat them with more respect as well, because it's really hard for designers get to get a job in this
Recognition.
industry. Yeah, and recognition as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I think of that too. It's just they have a lot of talent. They proved that they've been the parties or so I think just kind of I'm not gonna say they're gonna work for one cup. Like they work for a company that makes logos for other companies. That's kind of what I'm thinking about there. I think it's first thing. It's a lot more stable job. You don't be independent all the time. I think sometimes with the editing businesses, sometimes maybe there's a possibility you get scammed, but they already do prepay. I think second thing is you kind of don't. You get to work with a lot more people who have the same mindset as you. Work in a place where other people are creating logos. I think you like it's like more of a family bond right there than like just working independently, working at your house and just unless you stream and all that and you kind of treat it as your family. But I think working for these companies and also kind of helps for other experiences in the future, especially when you don't, maybe not you're like 4 years old, but no gaming or wants to hire you for graphic design and all that. I think that's where you get the full just being safe with that. You have a safe investment right there, and also anyone can design anything. You don't like people say, "Oh, you need a college degree and all that," but a graphic designer can be a lot better than some of these designers who went to college. So I think
Yeah, yeah,
they
for
should
sure.
be given an
Yeah, there
opportunity.
is. Because I know a lot of designers in this industry that are more well equipped than, say, other designers that have been going to college and stuff. Um, but it's not to also say that because for one, you know, smaller designers, or not so much smaller designers, but designers who are not in this industry at the same time don't have a really well-known grasp on what to do um, with industries, because at the same time, you know, say for example, I'm a company coming and contracting you. Well, for one, can you write up a contract knowing, saying that, this is gonna go through and that you have a set date and that this is, whatever. Say for example, um, you make this design and you can't really claim that it's yours anymore. You can say that you made it, but you can't claim that it's yours. Um, but at the same time, you can't release this information to anyone until say in the next 3 months. And you can literally see that they can post it, but for that designer, they want to get that exposure and they want to post it, but they have to follow those agreements, right? And it is difficult for some because they're small and they want to get big already, right? At the same time, they also have to know how to work with the work schedule on the same on par with what companies ask for. Um, Say for example, you're not so much being freelance, you're being brought in as a designer for the company, and they expect you to do around say 20 projects in 2 weeks. It's sometimes stressful for some people because they were used to just doing say 2 to 3 projects every week or two.
Yeah, 5 months.
But yeah,
I'll
it's
continue, sorry.
yeah, but yeah, that's it's something that for one design a lot of smaller designers have to really think about if they want to get into it. And at the same time, yeah, like companies do need to give them a chance as well. So, yeah.
Well, that's gonna. Thank you for joining me on the show. Kind of talking about logos and kind of talking about, especially with the closing topic.
Yeah.
Thinking, yeah, they should get again. What do you kind of prefer, freelance or job opportunity?
Freelance.
Just end off there.
I would, if I had the option, I would freelance for the rest of my life. But if I were offered there's only two teams that I would ever work for, full time, in the company. It would be 100 Thieves, or it would be Energy, and that would be it. And that's it, pretty much. I wouldn't work for any other
Well,
teams other than those two.
might as well get contacts going. Thank you for uh, thank you for joining me on the show. It's kind of hard to get a guest because I was supposed to have one last week.
Yeah.
You were actually, I think, a couple of days late, but you know, I think you messaged me yesterday. And I kind of
Yeah.
thought about, oh, maybe I can have one of my other guests get on there. But it was a great thing I got you because I probably would have had a worse talk with someone else on logos. But do you want to give any shout outs before we end the stream off? You can
No.
give it to anyone.
Yeah. Well, just if I guess for me, if anything, if anybody really wants to mission me or want to get in contact with me or have anything they want to ask me, my Twitter is Ray Branding. Just hit me up, send me a DM. I would be more than happy to help or give you prices on certain things. But yeah, it was nice talking to you, and I hope you or anybody who's listening to this had a better understanding on logos and in the and on the industry itself as well. So yeah, man, I appreciate it for having me on.
Well, that's gonna end the show here. Thanks for Ray for joining me on the show. I don't know when the next episode of the Game Takes is going to be live, but hopefully we'll have one on Saturday or Sunday based on if my other guest response. And yeah,
Yeah.
bye.